Hello everybody, my name is Matt Kowalowski, and I'm going to be giving you a recap of the 2015 College Football Playoff. And we start off with the Rose Bowl game, the first of two semifinal games this day, between the number 3 ranked Oregon Ducks and the number 2 ranked Florida State Seminoles. This is going to be a battle of Heisman winners, with last year's winner Jameis Winston for the Noles, and this year's winner Marcus Mariota for the Ducks. This is also a battle of two high-tempo offenses, which would lead this to being a very high-scoring affair. On their first drive of the game, Florida State got the ball down within the Oregon 20-yard line, but the Oregon defense forced a fumble on third down. The Noles would end up recovering the ball so they could get themselves a field goal at least on their first drive. Then on the ensuing Oregon possession, Mariota took the high-tempo offense to work, connecting with tight end Evan Bayless for a 19-yard completion on the first play of the drive. This would be how the Ducks played most of their game, leaning on their Heisman winner. Then on the Noles 17-yard line, the Ducks ran the triple option with Mariota keeping it at first, but then pitching it backwards to running back Charles Nelson, who would take it down to the 1. Then on second and goal, they would hand it off to running back Royce Freeman and take it in for the easy score. And as to make a statement of how the game was going to go early, the Ducks opted to go for 2, and they did get it successfully on a 2-yard pass. On the next Florida State drive, the Noles would get it down to the Ducks' 1-yard line and try to run it in on fourth down, with Winston keeping it himself, but he is tackled by linebacker Tony Washington to hold the score at 8-3. Then the Oregon offense went back to work with an 11-yard run by Mariota. The Ducks were able to get it down within the Noles red zone for an easy field goal to make the score 11-3. On the next drive, the Oregon defense made another great stand, here breaking up a pass from Mariota to hold the Noles to only a field goal to make the score 11-6. On their next offensive drive, Mariota showed us why he was awarded the Heisman winner this year. He started off with another great 11-yard run, then a 20-yard pass play to freshman Darren Carrington, who would end up with 2 receiving touchdowns on the day, and someone that many colleges would be looking at if he was willing to transfer. They would then hand it off to number 24 Thomas Tyner on a 16-yard run to get the ball within the red zone. And on the 1-yard line, Tyner got the call again to run it in to make the score 18-6 Oregon. And now with the score 18-13 Oregon linebacker Derek Malone Jr. stripped the ball from Florida State running back Dalvin Cook to give the ball back to Mariota and the high-tempo offense with the lead. On the next drive, Mariota hooked up once again with Carrington, breaking tackles for a nice 32-yard gain. He just breaks that tackle and keeps his legs chugging to get lots of extra yards after the catch. After a false start penalty, Mariota rolled out to his right and threw a strike to tight end Evan Bayless for a hard-fought 29-yard gain, breaking many tackles and getting a push from his teammates. Now on first and goal, they would hand the ball off to Royce Freeman once again for a 3-yard touchdown run. This would give the Ducks a comfortable 25-13 lead at halftime. The Oregon defense pressured Winston hard in the third quarter, but Florida State was able to get a touchdown on an 18-yard throw from Winston to keep it close. But the Ducks responded quickly, first and 10 from their 44-yard line, and Mariota connected once again with Carrington, this time for a 56-yard touchdown to make it 32-20 Ducks. On the next Florida drive, Dalvin Cook is stripped once again, this time by Oregon defensive back Eric Dargan. Dalvin Cook is having a hard time hanging on to that ball today. On the next Oregon drive, Mariota floats one to Carrington, who makes a move at the 5 and dives in for the score to make it 39-20 Ducks. Next, Noles possession. This is a huge turning point in the game. Winston looks around but can't find anybody, scrambles, slips, and loses control of the ball, and it is scooped up by linebacker Tony Washington and returned 58 yards for a touchdown. You can see Mariota here celebrating on the sideline. Ensuing next Florida State drive, this is a do-or-die time for the Noles. But the ball is bobbled and picked off by Eric Dargan. Next, ensuing Oregon drive, 4th and 2 on the Florida State 23, they run the option and Mariota keeps it and runs it in for another touchdown. Next Florida State possession, their last chance, and Wilson throws a pass to Jesus Wilson, but the ball is knocked out and recovered by the Oregon defense, pretty much sealing the deal for the Ducks. But the Ducks aren't done yet, handing the ball off once again to Thomas Tyner, who cuts back and runs 21 yards in, slamming the door on the Noles' chances. The Ducks move on after this game to play the winner of the Ohio State-Alabama game, and this is where we go next. The Sugar Bowl from New Orleans. We pick it up with Ohio State up 3-0. This is their first play after they get the ball back, and running back Ezekiel Elliott fumbles, which will lead to a 25-yard Derrick Henry touchdown run on the very next play. And this was oh no time for the Ohio State fans because they thought they actually had a chance at the beginning. But Alabama will get out to a 21-13 early lead, and here comes the monster Cardale Jones with a 22-yard run. A 6'5", 250 guy playing quarterback that can run is a hard guy to bring down. Now on 2nd and 10, the ball pitched to wide receiver Evan Spencer, who lobs it to another wide receiver, Michael Thomas, with 15 seconds left in the first half. And just before the half, we got a football game on a great catch and a great throw from a non-quarterback. Coming back to it a couple minutes into the second half, Jones launches a 47-yard touchdown to Devin Smith, who makes it past the defensive back for the easy catch. Now in the fourth quarter, with Ohio State up 34-28, Blake Sims throws an interception to give the ball back to Ohio State with the lead and 10 minutes remaining in the game. With next Ohio State possession, this would turn out to be the backbreaker, an 85-yard touchdown run by Ezekiel Elliott, and after that, a 2-point conversion to cap it. After a 6-yard TD pass to Amari Cooper, Bama got the ball back and launches one final Hail Mary that is picked off by Ohio State, ending the game and sending Ohio State to play against Oregon in the first ever college football playoff championship game. So here we go now, the big one, Oregon versus Ohio State. On their first drive, Oregon scores on a 7-yard TD pass from Mariota to Keenan Lowe to put the Ducks up 7-0 early. Later in the first, Ezekiel Elliott runs from 33 yards out to even the score at 7. Even later in the first, Cardale Jones tries to hit Devin Smith, but he ends up drawing a pass interference penalty instead. This would set up Ezekiel Elliott for a 15-yard run, which would set up a 1-yard run TD pass from Jones to Nick Vannett. On the Buckeyes' next possession, Jones would fumble and it would be recovered by Oregon. On the ensuing drive, Mariota would find Byron Marshall twice on 20-yard, then a 17-yard pass to get the Ducks within the Ohio State red zone. But Thomas Tyner would be stuffed at the goal line. Ohio State next possession would end in a turnover as well, with Corey Smith being stripped after a 47-yard catch and run from Cardale Jones. The ball would be recovered by Oregon, but they would fail to convert. On the ensuing Ohio State possession, Jones would find Devin Smith for a 45-yard pass, then running in himself from the 1-yard line. The Ducks are looking to put points up on the board before the half, and with Mariota connecting with Dwayne Stanford, Byron Marshall, and Charles Nelson, but they would have to settle for a field goal on this drive to make it 21-10 Ohio State at the half. In the third quarter, Cardale Jones threw yet another interception, which this time the Ducks converted into a 70-yard TD pass from Mariota to Byron Marshall again. On the next Ohio State possession, Jones would be sacked and fumble in very similar fashion to James Winston's fumble in the Rose Bowl. This would result in an Oregon field goal. And from here on out, it would be the Ezekiel show. First scoring from 9 yards out, then from 2 yards out, and set up by passes to Michael Thomas and Jalen Marshall. And then they would go one more for good measure to make the final score 42-20 Ohio State, and giving them the title of national champions once again. Now the big controversy was the college football playoff a success? So look, if we take a look at some TV ratings, here we have the number of viewers in millions of the playoff games and a couple other TV events. You can see the playoff games are in the middle of the graph, with the Rose Bowl and Sugar Bowl having roughly the same amount of viewers, around 28 million. But the number shot up for the championship game to 33.4 million. Now the small bar on the left, is the season 5 premiere of The Walking Dead at 17.3 million. And on the right is the highest viewed season of American Idol in the show's 14-year career, season 6, with 37.4 million viewers. So in terms of TV's rating, it was a success. Thank you for tuning in for my college football playoff recap, and I'll see you another time. Have a nice day. Bye.